everybody, it's Bunny and it's everybody's favorite day of the week. The day of the week when we ask ourselves, does this thing really work? And today we have a crafting doozy. This is actually something I wanted to test out for a really long time. Oh my god, it's like a ghost just reached into my throat hole and choked me. Either that or the fact that I sprayed 20 pounds of dry shampoo in my hair. Anyway, before I nearly choked and died, what I was trying to say is what we're gonna be testing out today. I'm sure you guys already saw a glimpse of the machine. This is in fact the Crayola crayon maker. A couple of months ago, I saw this item going kind of viral on TikTok. I'm not sure if just one person was creating videos like this or if it was a bunch of different TikTok accounts and they all had the same machine. I don't know. I honestly thought that this was just like a modern invention floating around on, you know, like the shelves of Walmart or something, but I should have known by the really cool looking packaging that this was not anything designed recently. This came out in 2009, so that makes it in fact 11 years old. I did have to pick this up on everybody's favorite secondhand marketplace, eBay. However, this is meant to be a brand spanking new one. You take a bunch of chopped up pieces of crayon. There's like these two cavities in the top. Is there a better word for cavity? What can you like put stuff in? Molds? Two hot lava cavities in top, and then you pour it into a mold and you can make these really cool custom multicolored rainbow crayons. You guys are gonna be so proud of me. I actually read the instructions for once, so I come today to you guys prepared because I did see that I had to order a light bulb, and I just unboxed this sucker, and let me tell you, that unboxing experience was nothing short of terrifying. Every second I just literally thought I was about to like get glass, like, you know, like I feel like that's in Saw. Isn't that in Saw where there's like glass everywhere? I've actually never seen those films. I think that this is kind of like a creepy crawler machine or an easy bake oven. You're gonna use the power of a light bulb to melt things. We have the deluxe 125 crayons, and you guys, I am just as excited for today's video as this crayon. This is my other favorite crayon. Please tell me how I have favorite animated crayons. Okay, so this is kind of one of the coolest parts, and I was wondering if this was like squishy in any way, and it kind of is. This is actually the tray that we're gonna be pouring the hot wax into. Oh my god, I feel the mascara running down my face from sneezing and choking and coughing. I present to you the cavities. This is the actual machine. Oh boy. Oh, they call this thing the melt tray. That's so much more pleasant than cavity. Oh god, a screwdriver is involved. Ugh. Yeah, there's a lot of words here that I have to read. I'm gonna shove some light bulbs inside of things, and the next time I see you guys, we're gonna be ready to melt stuff, so get excited. I'm editing this video right now, and I just realized about the next 45 minutes of footage or so is the pure chaos that I had setting this machine up. So I'm just gonna summarize to you guys what happened. That way we can just edit out that 45 minutes. It's designed so that people can't burn themselves right here in the plastic. You guys can probably see this like little notch here, but there is a locking mechanism in there. So anytime you turn this dial from basically the off position to where there's this little glowing light bulb symbol, the machine locks itself, and it doesn't matter what's going on in there, whether something went wrong or not, you're locked out of being able to do anything else for 25 minutes. That's basically what happened to me twice yesterday during setup. I had the misfortune of the very first light bulb I installed in there, even though it was brand new, fresh out of the package. As I'm sure you guys can see, as soon as I turned the dial to try and get the machine working, the light bulb exploded. So then I was just sitting there for 25 minutes, not being able to do anything. Then at that point, I didn't didn't know, since I bought the machine off of eBay, since it is so old, I didn't know if I had a faulty light bulb or a faulty unit, like if every light bulb I was gonna install in there was just gonna explode, because I don't know, maybe faulty wiring or something. Things happen, the world's an imperfect place. I installed a new light bulb, which then did work, but then I didn't have any crayons or anything loaded in there because I was still just like testing it out at that point. So then I had to wait another 25 minutes. Y'all know how I'm super long-winded sometimes. As a matter of fact, I'm doing it now. So let's get back to the rest of the video. Since we're kind of stuck here for the next, they say approximately 20 to 24 minutes. I don't know how the Crayon timer doesn't time the same amount of time every single time, but hey, I'm not Crayola. I didn't make this thing. Since we have approximately 20 to 24 minutes of doing nothing here in Crayon Purgatory, why don't we go ahead and cut some crayons. They say use no more than the equivalent of 2 whole crayons in each of these little melting trays. You can use 4 halves of crayons or 8 quarters of crayons. The very first thing I want to do though is make a combination of an orange and blue crayon for Dogman. You guys know when I do like different colored things, I always like to do that so that I can be like, hey, I made this crayon for you. Am I the only weirdo that just loves the smell of like all kinds of office supplies and art supplies? That ended up just taking about 45 minutes to select all of the crayons. And of course you have to remove all of the paper wrappers and then cut them up into a bunch of little pieces. So like I said, I went through and selected what I thought were the prettiest orange and blue crayons to make an orange and blue one for Dogman. And then for myself, I wanted to take my favorite color, which is camo, and try and create like a camo swirled crayon. So I have all of the pieces ready. Now it's finally time to start melting the crayons. You take the melting tray, just glide those into place, and you have to make sure that this little lever catches the tray because this is how we're gonna be pouring the melted wax. There's this little gear on this side, and when you turn this, it will dump the melted wax into the molds. So we're gonna put all of the blue and orange ones on this side, and then here is our lovely camo creation. That is what everything looks like in the tray. You guys, I've never been more excited to melt some crayons in my life. Let's once again turn our little dial to the light bulb side. So we're just gonna be letting this thing sit now for probably about half of the cycle. Right here, there is like a melted cup symbol. By the time the timer reaches that point, that's supposed to mean that your crayons are in a melted state. That's when we're gonna turn this handle again, and we'll be able to pour our melted wax into the molds. While I'm waiting for these crayons to melt, I'm just gonna be here in the background cutting up some other crayon color combinations. Just in case these turn out, you know, kind of yucky, I will already have other colors of crayons waiting in the wings to melt. I did not quite think that it was completely at the melted point yet, but I just heard the light bulb click off. So the timer is not quite at this melted cup symbol, but I guess it's ready to go. Let's go ahead and turn the dial, and we should see all of the crayon juices pour into the molds here. Oh my gosh, you guys. It doesn't look like it's sitting in there evenly. This might be, oh no! Somehow the tray got literally like disconnected from this little latch. Oh my gosh, I've got to go downstairs and get an oven mitt and try and like reconnect it, and it won't let me open it yet. I'm back, and now I have a rubber cow. Hopefully he'll be able to help me out of this situation. Unfortunately, I'm still locked out of the crayons. I'm starting to understand why they stopped making this item. The crayons, I do believe, are starting to solidify, so that's great. Oh, yay. Okay, we can open it again now. This is just kind of one of those devices where it is really fun, but parts of it are just very, very not fun. I'm gonna go ahead and still just pour it. Ooh. the molds should be filling. I'm gonna just turn the timer on for just a little bit. I'm like unlocking expert mode here for the crayon maker, but I'm trying to just reheat this crayon stuff just enough to hopefully get this residue that started to solidify again in the bottom of the pan. I don't think that I was that successful with that, and I'm hoping now that I haven't messed up this mold part, because let me let you guys see what it looks like in there. Oh my gosh, an absolute drippy mess. On the other hand, the crayons do look really promising. They look like really nice and swirled and pretty. I'm not sure if it's just like the jacked up way I just did this, but for whatever reason, both of the crayons on the right hand side are not completely full. Oh my gosh. They do feel like hardened in there already, which maybe that's why they leave it locked for so long, even after the light bulb turns off, is because they're trying to just like make sure people aren't gonna be too impatient and like grab the crayons before they're completely cured. Here is camo crayon number 1. It looks really cool. There are some uneven waxy bits, but those pop off really easy. So you get a relatively smooth crayon. I mean, it certainly doesn't look like fresh from the Crayola factory or anything. It looks cool enough for me. And let's go ahead and pop out crayon number 2. This one still feels, oh my gosh. Yeah, we just found out. That one is still soft. This one actually really just looks mostly blue. I can barely see any orange in there. I really thought that these were gonna look super swirly. It's kind of interesting because you can see it almost has like an orange core. It's like somehow the orange is all on the inside of the crayon and the exterior is blue. That's so wild. This one definitely looks much more sparkly. There are more orange bits. What I'm gonna do now is look in the instructions and see if they will give us like any cleanup tips, because I'd like to try and clean up this tray and at least make 2 more crayons. And also, while I'm trying to clean this up, I'm gonna go ahead and just let these sit a little bit longer. These little crayon joiners are for, because I guess they acknowledge that this is about the size of half of a crayon. So you're supposed to be able to load like one side and then the other side. And then you have a whole freakish little crayon. It's time finally for round 2. I have the machine reloaded up with a couple other color combinations, and one half of this machine I did in a way that no one told me to, but I kind of thought I would be able to use even more than 8 crayons, obviously, if I used the crayon sharpener included in the giant crayon packet. And I wanted to make like a mixture of pink, purple, and like fuchsia. And I also used a little bit of that glittery white crayon as well. And so I just literally sat here while I was waiting for everything else to happen, and I just did a ton of crayon shavings. And then the other side I filled with a bunch of greens and yellows. I also filled the little trays a little bit more this time. As I showed you guys last time, I really feel like we didn't get both of the molds full. It just sort of made like 1.5 crayons for each of the different colors. And so I'm thinking, you know, that could have been because we didn't really get it to completely pour properly, or it could have been because I didn't add enough crayon wax to begin with. I got the molds pretty clean. That was quite a labor-intensive, time-consuming process as well. Probably just spent like 35 minutes really trying to get both the little like silicone crayon mold clean as well as the little trays clean. Everything about this is extremely time consuming. Hopefully we won't see any like camo colors or any blue and orange left on these crayons. Kind of the same thing for the silicone mold as well, even though I don't really feel like there was any like thick, chunky crayon residue left. There is like some blue staining, so I don't know if it just like stained the mold or if in fact like that's going to affect what these look like as well. You guys, this is a process and a half. If you're still at home like me and you're not going out much and you just literally have all day. Like, you guys, it's now 5 in the morning and I started this process, I think at like 12:50. It's 5:30 in the morning. I have been doing this for approximately 4 hours already. It's been an experience. Time for the crayon reveal. Oh my gosh. You guys, these things have been sitting out for like 30 minutes now, and they're still like kind of warm in there. I do think overall these turned out better. I don't think it makes any difference if you spend all the time doing the little crayon shavings. You can see a little bit more pink and purple, but I don't know. For all the different, like, you know, shavings and stuff in there, I really expected it to be like, oh, like super swirly. This is this one, which is maybe kind of the coolest one, honestly, because it has so many different colors in it. And then these two are just kind of the solid green and yellow and the solid purple and pink. But first, let's do a big swatch of the orange and blue. Ooh, there's some orange. It looks kind of cool. Other side is the camo side. Ooh, that is almost making like a camo pattern. That looks so much more camo now that I've colored with it. So it's almost like if you start coloring with it, like one color is exposed and then another one like pops out. That just mostly looks like literally yellow. This really just looks like it's one color, which I do love this color because it is like a fuchsia magenta. But this one, no matter which way I turn the crayon or anything, I don't really feel like it's doing the same as the other ones, where you do get like little hints of green and then a lot of yellow or blue and orange, like this one. And my main camera just died. In conclusion, this was an entire process. This literally took me from yesterday all up until the next day. I did have fun. I feel like this is one of those devices where it takes a lot of time. You know, there's like a lot of preparation with the unwrapping of the crayons and the all the steps that you guys just saw. And also I feel like there is quite a learning curve both in doing it and cleaning it. There's just like not one step of this that comes super easy, but it is fun. Once you start to figure it out, it gets a little bit easier, I think, after every single time. Like, I feel like if I was gonna do it again, I would probably get even better results. And I feel like it is a lot of fun to make these crayon creations and then like see what they look like as you're doodling with them. Definitely my favorite one is probably the camo one. I think it's the one that turned out the best. And it colors like the most like what I would think a camo crayon would look like. I could see where this would be like really helpful to de-stress if you just needed something that didn't take a lot of like thought, but it was just like time consuming and a lot of steps and like something to focus on. You can definitely find them on eBay. There are 2 different models, but this one just looked like more interesting to me. I think that this is the only one where you actually like saw the stuff like pouring into the molds. I think the other one, like the machine and stuff, is like the process is more encapsulated. Honestly, I'm kind of curious if it is like a newer model. Did they sort of like work some of the kinks out? Because I don't need to even just summarize what you guys just watched if you've made it this far in the video. Anyway, you guys, I feel so tired now, and I'm sure that y'all can tell I'm so tired. But thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. If you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below, subscribe, become a member of the Swamp family, and give an alligator its wangs. I love you guys so much, and I will see y'all again very, very soon. Bye!